Alrighty, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're looking forward to good plans for today and for the weekend, or chilling out. Either one is cool. Whatever you plan on doing, I hope it goes super well for you. We're here to watch Legend of Vox Machina, episode 7. Last week we watched episode 6, and it was pretty cool, and there's some stuff that we want to talk about. So, in episode 6, we arrived in Whitestone, sought out the Resistance, found them kind of in shambles because some of their leaders have been captured, found Keeper Yenin, and talked a little bit about some stuff in some ways that I found cool and not so cool. Touched occasionally on the fact that Pike is off trying to commune with her goddess and having a hard time doing it. And the curious implication that the problem is not with whatever Delilah did to her, but with Pike herself. Very interesting, something for her to overcome. Curious how that's going to wrap back in, but I have a feeling that I understand how that scene is going to go, and I'm very excited for it, whether it happens right now or later into the future. I don't care. We also met some of the villains, and they are villainous, and Percy did some things, and they were scary. He's a little bit of a spooky boy, and we don't fully understand why right now, but some people have some theories, and that's wonderful. That's basically it. We left off the episode with a bit of a reveal. Percival, your sister, is still alive, which is odd because in the flashback when they were running away, we fully saw her downed by a whole bunch of arrows and she should be dead. So something odd is going on, and now we're going to have to figure out what it is. The plans are becoming more complicated as we move further into Whitestone and closer to our goals, which, again, keep getting more complicated. I want to talk about comments and stuff. That's basically what we got in the last thing. Percival von Musel de Rollo de Frederickstein von Klowowski von Musel de von Rollo. Ooh, he's scary. He keeps putting on a mask and doing scary things and shooting people when everybody else doesn't want him to shoot people, and he keeps doing it. And the last time that he did it, he shot somebody really important, said some badass lines, and a name on the barrel of his pistol with its list upon it. A listle, you might say. Sure. Vanished. How very odd. Like there's something going on here. Sort of Arya Stark-esque counting the names. It's exactly that. It's very much Arya Stark-esque counting the names of the people that he wants to kill. And it's wonderful. And I like it a lot. And I really like how it looks. I like how it feels. And I like everything about it. But for a moment, I want to take a step back and talk about some of the comments that rolled in a little bit later on episode 5, because the Sun Tree happened and some other things happened in episode 5, and I want to talk about a couple of those comments. Then we'll talk about a couple of comments from episode 6. Then we'll watch the actual show. Okay, so bear with me. If you want to skip ahead, you can skip ahead, but I want to talk about a couple of these comments. So first off, Achilles A writes, I'm in love with how Percy's stuff has been portrayed in the entire series. The presentation is always on point. I loved the little scene where everyone else is sleeping, but he's awake, flicking at his gun, and we see the names on it. So visually simple, but so strong. I couldn't agree more. Percy's mannerisms and way of being have been a definite highlight for me throughout the series. Honestly, so is Keyleth. They've nailed some of what happens with Keyleth like later. Keyleth becomes a lot more fun and a lot less like, how do I put it? Maybe more self-aware and less and more goofy about it, and like taking herself a little less seriously a little bit later. And we're already getting a little bit of that now, and I like that a lot. But Percy taking himself oh so seriously is fucking wonderful, and it's a great contrast to like Scanlan being a goober goofball, Grog being a dumb fuck who just wants ale and fuck and smash and also smash. It's great. I really like how they're portraying Percy. I think that Talison's doing a great job of voice acting his own character. He always did. And it's great. There is actually another fun comment. Wait, where is it? Oh yeah, it's actually on episode 6, but Bill DeWitt writes, I was also unaware that the Critical Role cast were professional voice actors. That's kind of neat. Although to me, the only ones who have stood out to me as excellent in the voice acting department are Taliesin, who I think does an excellent job bringing out Percy's emotions through the voice, and Travis, probably because of Grog's unusual manner of speech. So I'll address the Travis part first. Nobody can do Grog. Literally nobody in the world can do Grog the way Travis can do Grog. Now, that's not true. I'm sure there are people who can, but after watching like the narrative telephones and seeing people try to understand how Grog does this like lilt in his voice as he goes, nobody can do it. And they're all fucking pro voice actors or voice directors, and that's fucking wonderful. Travis is brilliant and a very talented man, and we all know it and we all love him. Um, what is really interesting to me is that you mentioned how excellent Taliesin is. And that's so interesting to me because Taliesin, by trade, while he has done voice acting, is more frequently a voice director and producer and stuff. He normally works with other people trying to bring out the emotional qualities of their voices and working together to bring it all together. So that he stands out to you as a brilliant voice actor himself is really interesting because by trade, he's not constantly, frequently a super active voice actor, and I find that really interesting. Definitely, he's in the VO space and has been for a long time and knows what he's doing with his voice and has some crazy voices. People will talk about his vicious mockery voice in Campaign 2. Oh, shit. I just inhaled spit. But people will talk about his vicious mockery voice, which is kind of what he does. He does like a full false fold growl or something. I don't know how he does it. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool that it mirrors in a couple of different comments, that whole thing. Anyway, moving along, Triple A Andrew, 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 Aaron. I've been waiting for you to see the Sun Tree scene, and especially the completely fucked up pre-scene. It's great watching people who know the story to see that scene and the dawning realization of just what's in store for these unfortunate people. Delilah's sweet little tone and gifting the little girl with the Everlight necklace is just the undead cherry on the top of this Sunday of evil. First off, I love the term Sunday of Evil. You fucking nailed it. That's so evocative and great. It's like piling on different layers of chocolate sauce of evil and caramel sauce of evil and sprinkles of evil and the cherry on top and the whipped cream of evil. I buy it and I love it. It's wonderful. Yes, that scene is rough. Primarily because we didn't get that scene in the campaign, right? And so it's a really nice inclusion. It's a really fun inclusion to hint towards something that occurs. In the campaign, watching it, actually watching Critical Role, we just see the character's response to the thing and their slow roll realization because it actually takes them a while to understand what the fuck is going on. Like, at first, for a while, some of them think that the Briarwoods killed these people because they actually thought that these people were Vox Machina. They were like, oh no, it's a case of mistaken identity. They've accidentally murdered a bunch of people, which means they'll murder us. And it dawns on them slowly that no, they didn't kill them because they thought they were you. They killed them to warn you. That's the level of disregard for human life and existence that we're at here. And it's lovely. It's just glorious. Getting to actually humanize those characters and show that they are real people in a desperate circumstance being drawn in by these nobles for the promise of a good meal is essentially their promise. Ooh, that's groovy. Evil groovy, but it is definitely the evil Sunday, evil cherry on the top of the evil Sunday, and I love it. Continuing on, so glad you picked up on the use of music to transition from the temple to the campfire. Neela Cree just kills it with the music in this series. I'll hard agree with that. I think it's been great. Sometimes it's so subtle just to set a scene or mood, and other times, like in the battle scenes, he uses the music effectively to boost emotions and guide us through the actions. It was his idea to just have that spooky piano and the creaking of the ropes. Wonderful. Also, enjoying your reactions and comments. Looking forward to seeing the rest with you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think the music has been great so far. All the things that you say are kind of just what you would expect from a sound director or music director. It's so subtle to set our scene or mood, use the music effectively to boost emotions and guide us through action and battle scenes. Yeah, these are all exactly what should be done. The fact of the matter is that they're just being done, and that's good. And it's easy to overlook that, but it is good. And Puffy Cloud responded to that to just ditto the same idea. And when they brought the group and a little blonde girl spoke, my heart stopped for a while. Oh, so wonderful. Okay, those are all the comments that I'm going to touch on from episode 5. There is a really long comment from Bill DeWitt here. This one, I'm sorry, Bill, is a little bit too long for me, but I will skim through it a little bit. So paragraph 1, we already talked about. It's Taliesin as a voice actor, and also Travis, also Ale. The second paragraph is not being so keen on the fight sequences because there were individual parts that were fine and cool, like Keyleth wild shaping, or the side character getting utterly brained as like a surprise moment, little impactful moments, but the overall flow of the fight didn't land for Bill. Totally fair. The fight against the race in episode 4 didn't have this problem, perhaps because we spent more time in the keep and there were fewer participants, and apart from a few moments, it just didn't look as good to me art and animation wise. That's super fair. complicated fight. I'm not going to make excuses for them. I didn't think it was amazing either, but there were some solid moments throughout it. I do really like that Keyleth Wild shaping into Minxie sequence. I think it's really cool. But other things didn't land so much, and mostly that whole fight is just to funnel us toward Percy's scene at the end, in my opinion. That's, I think, what the purpose of the whole sequence is for, and it works really well. So, going off of that, Bill writes in the next comment, there were some really good things as well. I liked the really cute, sketchy art planning sequence. Me too. The door sequence was very fun. And yes, the payoff with the guard just opening the door is hilarious and very D&D. And of course, the sequence with Percy, really cool in every way. My personal favorite bit is the expression on his face when he takes off the mask, just full of scorn and hatred, and I love it. Yes, it's magical. Final question, or final paragraphs are, first, Bill finds it surprising when I say that D&D parties aren't good at plans, because Bill's party is okay with planning. My party is not good at planning, and the Critical Role party is also not good at planning. Watch Campaign 2. Some shit's gonna happen. Hey, let's go to the docks, everybody. What could go wrong, possibly? Hey, let's go be pirates, everybody. What could possibly go wrong? Hey, let's go bang that sexy pirate lady. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, that's... oh, boy. They make some bad plans. And they make some great improvisational moments. And the whole mix is wonderful. But I understand that for you, your team may be more strategic, more tactical, more thoughtful, more plan-oriented. My party is not, and most of the D&D parties that I've seen are not. So just different experience, different table, different people, different zone, different idea. Okay. And the final paragraph from Bill DeWitt is disagreeing with the notion that it's hard to run a D&D campaign with gods. I'm, again, going to skip over this. I think you're right. The last line of this paragraph is you can really do whatever you want in D&D. The rules are there to be broken, and I hard agree with this. I guess what I would say is that it is a fundamental assumption of the materials presented by Wizard of the Coast that there are gods. How about that as an assumption? It is actually a fundamental assumption. If you pull up the Dungeon Master's Guide, in the first few pages, it talks about the fundamental assumptions of D&D, that there are fallen ancient civilizations, that there is dangerous wilderness, that there is evil in this world, that there is good in this world, blah, 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 blah. And one of the fundamental assumptions is that there are deities, there are supernatural powers that are manifest in our world through the actions and powers granted to individuals by them. It's just a fundamental assumption, and while you say, when I DM'd, I had a cleric who's flavored as just actually an insane sorcerer who hears voices in his head and thinks it's gods talking to him, what you're doing is flavoring a thing so that it works in your world, where the actual fundamental assumptions of a cleric are that you have a divine domain, a specific deity who you follow and worship, etc., etc. Similarly, with a warlock, there is some extraplanar entity that is very powerful that is granting you power. Like, that kind of thing is a fundamental assumption of the game, and I don't think you can actually fully get away from it without changing the fundamental assumptions of the game. Now, again, the rules are there to be broken, and you can change those fundamental assumptions without great repercussions. It's fine. You just have to do a little bit of work to do it. All of the written material assumes that it is the case. I hope that is a clear distinction that just separates the problem, and we can agree on it, okay? Because I don't disagree with you that you can have a game without gods, but I do disagree that it's not. It is that way. It is that way. That's what the material presented contains. But you can change that, obviously, if you want to. I mean, you can make a rogue a support class if you want to, somehow. You can homebrew anything. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's D&D. It's your table. And that's part of the magic of it. Okay. And then I will also just bring up Kitty Fairies. The No Mercy Percy moment was definitely a disarming shot, followed by a disarming shot. Ha 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 ha. Hoo hoo hoo. Yeah. Yeah, good joke. Also, those who aren't familiar, No Mercy Percy is that's a thing we say, because Percy is brutal sometimes. That man has guns. I mean, all I have to say is that man has guns. Everybody else running around with swords and daggers and shit, and that's all cool, but the man has guns, and he knows how to use them. It's scary. And the final comment that I will touch on is Craig Starbird, and I actually really like this comment, writes, "My presumption for why Stonefell isn't a vampire is just to preserve Lord Briarwood's sense of danger. In the main campaign, Stonefell was a full vamp, and they did have to double tap his mist form before he could reform, but in a short form show, 2 vampires might be unnecessary, and an easy-to-kill one might detract from the show's vampire mythos. They still got his cruelty and monstrosity across without just making him a vampire. Plus, it allows Percy to be the one who gets the true killing blow for a name on his list, rather than having Keyleth kill Stonefell like in the campaign." Yeah, so spoilers for the campaign. In the campaign itself, Matt gives them sort of like a branching path situation where there are all of these like nobles or counts or whatever that they should go and kill before they go and kill the actual Briarwoods, so the Briarwoods can't call in reinforcements and whatnot. And Stonefell is one of those. So they do a thing, they infiltrate his house, they attack him, and they try to kill him. And they succeed. And they do so by double tapping him because he is a vampire and he goes mist form and all these things happen, and Keyleth has Sunbeam and she blasts him to death and he dies. But Percy doesn't contribute that much to the fight, and it's not as emotionally powerful. And also, actually, the fight goes a little weird because there's the whole Windwall shenanigans, and Matt's really... I'll step back and I'll say that, like, it's clear if you will go and you watch and rewatch that fight that Matt really wants Stonefell to escape, and he plans to have Stonefell escape. Like, he's gonna get out in mist form vampire-wise. Matt really wants that. And so he does some, like, shenanigans as a DM, which is reasonable and fair. It's his table, to try to avoid some things that should work. For example, Keyleth trapping him with Windwall, using the Sunbeam when she doesn't necessarily know that there's a mist form there, and there's a little bit of an argument about metagaming there. My guess is that it's a combination of what you've said, Craig, which I agree with, and I think is a good call narratively for the people making the show, but also because it was a complicated fight, they got a little wonky, and maybe they just want to smooth it over and do it a different way, and I'm okay with that. Anyway, that's that. Good fight. There is one other element that I think we will all be extremely miffed if we don't get to see, because it's the most magical thing in the world, and I am talking about something that involves Scanlan, and you know what it is. And if we don't get to see that animated, I don't know what's wrong with the world. If that fight goes in any way differently than I have seen it, I have seen that fight, Scanbo, so many dozens of times. There's a video of it that's just a clip of it. There's the one where it's like where it's like Liam and Sam being friends, and Liam like freaking out and having an emotional breakdown throughout the whole Scambo experience. There's all this shit going on, and I really want to see it. And I'm actually hoping that it happens this week. So anyway, I agree with the changes that they've made. I just want to point out that they've made those changes because that's neat and interesting and different. But that's where we're at. We killed Stonefell, and Vax watched it, and then Percy turned the gun on us, and his eyes went hard black and evil and stuff. Yeah, some stuff's going on with Percival. We need to talk about Percival. Shoutouts to Dimension 20 Unsleeping City. We need to talk about Pete. Or we need to talk about Cody, depending on which season you're on. Fuck! Shoutouts to Unsleeping City. It's great. You should watch it. It's set in magical New York. You should watch it. Okay. Those are all the comments. We did it, everybody. Sorry, again, that it goes so long. I hope you enjoy these comment sections, because I really enjoy doing them, and I'm not gonna stop. I might stop, but I probably won't stop. Okay. So, here we are for Legend of Vox Machina Season 1, Episode 7. I've got the episode up and ready to go. We're in the middle of the shit. We are the shits in the shit. Whitestone is fucked, and we're right in the middle of it. I'm really excited to see how this plays and where we go from here now that Percy knows that his sister is alive. I hope that we have time for some communication about some of the things that have been going on between our characters, because again, that's something that I really like that's been expanding as the show goes on, is the ability of these characters to talk to each other. But I also think that at this point in the story, Percy is not able to communicate effectively. And so we might get a scene where all the characters are trying to weasel information out of Percy, and he's not capable of giving it effectively, or what he gives will be lies, or partial truths, or things that he thinks are true that aren't. We don't know, but I'm excited to see how it plays. I'm also really excited to see if Pike stuff goes down. Should be interesting, and do more stuff in Whitestone in general. Also, Sexy Briarwoods being sexy and scary, and more, please. Please, sir, may I have some more? I would like more of that. It's good. Okay, that's where we're at. So, I've got Vox Machina episode 7 up and ready to go. It's at 0 seconds. We're going to watch it timer based on YouTube. Beep beep timer will count you down. Early access on the Patreon. Likes, comments, subscribes, all that jazz. Let's go. Beep beep timer. Ah. Ah. Residuum. All right. Fucking brown haired Percival. As always. Get that look. Okay. God damn it. Stop it. Demonstrate. Oh, who's that voice actress? Certainly. Fuck. Bro. Gonna hurt me. Hello, Pops. Hello, Moms. To refine Whitestone. But America. Well, we see where his resentment comes from, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ah, you spoiled brat. How could you understand? Knock, knock, knock. Please let me in. Woo! That was a cool intro. That was a cool intro. It sets up a lot of stuff. I dig it. So sick. That walking scene is so sick. Ah! This is the first time that the OP's given me actual chills. I don't know why. I have no idea why. It just landed this time. All right, here we are. Dark and gloomy. Yeah, we should cut them down, Keyleth. That's not all right. Damn fucking right. Bullshit. No. I'll fucking kill you. And he will. Well, you'll try, actually. You might have trouble. Hmm. Tell the story, tell the story, tell the story. He doesn't know. Hey! Story time with Percival, story time now. Running time. Hello. Hair is white. Yeah. Clickety click. Dreams. Oh, God. Oh, they're mixing in the bits and pieces. Ooh. Ooh. I like this. Taliesin put this scene together 100%. Holy shit. This is so dope. What? What's this? God damn it, Scanlan. It's a way to put it. Yes. What was that? Kiki? Oh, not good. Not good. Deep and dark down below. Something poisons the roots of the tree. Plant growth. Nope. Gotta fix the curse first. Ah! Ah! There she is. Yes, it is her. Okay. Carrion stone fell. Whoosh. Good question. God damn it, Kiki. Not the ale! Okay, the ale. No. Shh. I thought we split up. Okay, whatever. Vax getting in her way to protect Keyleth. Not worth it. The hero we need. ¿Por qué no los dos? Oh. Fedmire. Okay. It's more than 3, Grog. It's more than 3. It is a real idea. No. Stop it, Grog. Stop it, Grog. He's small, but he's mighty. I'm not being cute! Yes. That can change. Thankman. Let's go! The answer is yes, let's fucking go! Fuck you! Let him go! Just pulling the axe out of the bag. I know what they do. Hmm. Yes. Yes! I cannot express how excited I am. Of course you do! Is that the horn? The hand cone? Well, Matt. Mercenaries. Love that we're singing this. Let's go, Scanlan. Scanlan! Just burn a 5th level spell real quick. Shit. Yep, that does happen. Hmm. Now that's inaccurate, but okay. Up, buddy. How? Oh, we did not need that. But it's great. Good enough. Hoop it up. Glug and blink? Blink. Gotta be. That's cool. Hello. Oh, diminution. In a lot of ways. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Bye. Woo. You gonna get big again? Nope. Beautiful. Those are some big swords. Heh heh heh. So is there gonna be like a skeleton or something? Oh. Oh, no. Not nice, dude. Yep. Okay. Oh, he's feeling weird. Oh, no, you will suffer worse. Oh, there's the dragon's breath. Oh, it's not what I expected, but it's going well. Yeah, so sweet. Oh, but we do get a chance to talk. Uh-huh. Nice emotion, Taliesin. He'll be fine. Indeed. Hey, that's neat. Where is it? There it is! Hi! Ooh. The big games. The grand games. Uh-huh. Tempting. Popplemoff. Fuck it. Yes! Yeah, good. Hello! Yay! Not bad at all. Ow. Yeah, pretty much. Pincushioned. Normally they don't come to you. Oh, up the stairs too! Good, good, good. So they did incorporate all of it. Yes, very interesting, Vedmire. Oh my god. They're doing well with these rampaging scenes. These are great. Ah, shit. Seriously, man. It's gonna fall apart, dude. Clunk. Ah. Big Biz. And... Oh, just walking through the fire like he doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, I burned your house down, bro. Get wrecked. You have a burned house. Oh, they're all just chilling. Click. Click. Stop it. Who lets him do anything solo? You don't want that. Chillax. Yeah, he fucking did. Let's go. Yeah, he did. Sure is. Oh, they're all going. Said no one ever. Well, give it a shot. That's a good line. That's a very good line. Back from the dead indeed. All right, let's go find fucking Anders and Cassandra. Hello. Thank you, Vax. It's a trap. At least it's grog. Oh, good transition. Ow. You're fine, Scanbo. Let's go, dude. You deserve that beret. Just gonna fart. Yay. There we go. Kavunk. Oh, he took that 5d8 real easy. Ooh, interposing hand. Fup, whoop, whoop. Yeah, yeah. Oh, no. Ow. Ah! Let's go, Grog. Oh, jeez. Come here. Yup. Do not shoot the barbarian. Just don't do it. Oh, hello there. Encore. You're dumb and ugly. You know what, I'll talk you burned down his fucking house. Oh. Oh, straight up lightning bolt. Oh, that's great. That's very fun. Hand? Peace and fuck you. Good show, buddy. Good show. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Where are you, Anders? Anders! Where's my sister? Oh, this is such a trap. Pussy? Is this gonna go the way I think it is? It sure is. Yup. That's how I thought this would go. Ugh. Really selling it. Mercy. Mercy. Black eyes. Boom. Oh, so much stuff happened. It's so different. I'm okay with it. Okay. Ooh, there's some stuff. Oh, it's just that thing. Yeah, I forgot. Chirp. Pow. Ooh, some groovy stuff in this episode. I'm happy. I'm very happy. Some serious changes, which I think we'll talk about some of them. I'm not sure in this case why some of those changes were made necessarily. I assume just for story flow and to change it up for the people who are expecting it. But there are definitely some changes made, and some of them I'm down for. Some of them are a little bit weird, but all in all, it made for a great episode. And I love the bouncing back and forth between the plot lines. I actually really like this opening sequence because it sets up a bunch of stuff. It tells us about Whitestone and about Whitestone and about Residuum in particular. And it demonstrates to us Anders' character and precisely why he would have betrayed the family. His resentment, his feeling of being restrained by his employers, his desire for someone else, his view of the children as entitled brats, and his view of the Lord and Lady of Whitestone as people who don't deserve to be in power, essentially, which is a perfect justification and a perfect reason to betray them. Wonderful. Also, we get to see the dynamic between Percy and Cassandra, which is really important moving forward because we see them as brother and sister, and her being a bit of a brat in the process, and him being also a brat in a different way, being a know-it-all motherfucker, and her shoving stuff on him and spilling his shit and, you know, tossing his stuff to the floor and being all hilarious. It's good. It's great. We also get to meet Mom and Dad, and they are noble and a bit haughty, and it's not false what Anders feels. Like, these people are acting like they're better than him. The only issue is that I think they're better than him. Actually. So, whatever. He does the whole groveling servant thing, but of course it's through clenched teeth, and it is rage behind it, and rage that he feels comfortable showing to the children because he doesn't believe that they can be a threat to him. And so he is abusive and demonstrates all of that to us very quickly, and it's really solid at doing all of those things and setting up these characters. Both the interactions between Cassandra and Percival and their relationship and their love for each other in a very brother-sister kind of way, which is something that I think Taliesin really likes to include in his characters. After seeing him in Campaign 2 do some stuff with family things that I won't spoil, it seems like this is the kind of interaction that Taliesin either... I actually don't know if Taliesin is an only child or has siblings, but either has in real life with his siblings or would like to have if he had siblings. It's the kind of, like, playfully hating each other, but actually that belies a deep and unstated and maybe like... under talked about love that both of the people really know that they have for each other, and that's wonderful. Okay, so we split up, rendezvous in the morning, and Keyleth once again looks at the sun tree and the people hanging from it, and we focus for a second on the one that mimics her. I like this scene. I like scenes like this that have an emotional weight to them without saying anything. They're powerful. They're really powerful. And this plays off of what we had earlier, where Keyleth was the one who recommended or presented the idea that we should cut them down, and we were told that that's not a good idea because it will reveal our presence and yada yada, and so she hasn't done it yet, but Keyleth has this link to the sun tree and this link to the people who are hanging there, and it's really interesting to set that up. I like it a lot. Okay, and we have some conversations. Hey, motherfucker, what the fuck was that? Yeah, reasonable talk to have with Percival Frederickstein von Chlorota de Rollo de fuckboy de gun shooter de black eyes de shadow man de crow mask. There's something wrong here. So... he tells the story. The story begins 5 years ago. He runs from the murder of his family. He watches his sister die. His hair shifts to white. And with his Harry Potter glasses cracked and blood dripping down his face, he dives into the water and is pulled up by a fisherman. He wanders the streets, lives as an orphan, dropped from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. Destroyed. Torn apart. Broken. And as he breaks further and further, as he spends his nights cold and alone and hungry, he dreams. He dreams of the death of his family. He dreams of the murder. He dreams of blood on his own hands because of his inability to stop it. Blood on the hands of the Briarwoods because they did it. Blood on Anders. He dreams of revenge. He dreams of fixing what has gone horribly wrong in his life. Mending the pieces back together, and he seeks out for something to do that. And in destruction, he finds solace. In the blood, and the hatred, and the torment, and the fear, he hears the clicking noises of a machine unimagined by anyone before this time. And he begins to sketch designs. I think this whole scene is amazing. From Taliesin's delivery of the lines,
burning hotter than black powder,
the lilt to his voice, the rage within it, to the jumping between the clicking of the gears, the turning of the barrel, the explosions of black powder, the eyes that burn yellow in in the shadows. And Percy comes up with his first designs for a firearm, and he begins to work, tipping the scales of fortune and producing his first piece. The pepper box. The list. Does it matter where it came from? At the moment, yes, I'd say it does. Me too. Where did that inspiration come from? Just from the mind of a brilliant young man with revenge in his heart? Or maybe from somewhere more sinister? We'll have to watch and find out. Keyleth reaches out to the sun tree. She tries to grow plants upon it, and in doing so, she sees a vision of the tree growing cold and dark, and something deep below infesting its roots. A darkness, a deep darkness, at the core of Whitestone. Something is wrong in this city. More than just vampires, something is deeply, deeply wrong. And Keyleth's the only one who's aware. So she tries to reach out, to grant growth, to grant sunlight. And Percy tells us about his list. Ooh, Anders, Ripley, Briarwood. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. But someone notices. Scanlan notices. That's only 5 names on the list, buddy. Who's the 6th barrel for? And that's a very interesting question. And one that we may never find out the answer to. I know the answer. I'm not going to tell you, though. Now, you might have a theory about it. The common theories that are thrown around, the most common theory that's thrown around is that it's suicide, is that it's like a Captain Jack Sparrow last bullet type of thing, or that it's like something else or something else. I know the real answer, and it's a very interesting one, but it's something that you should think about. If you want to throw your thoughts or theories about why he has 1 extra blank barrel on his 6-barreled pistol with the names on it, let me know in the comments. Drop that down there. I'd love to see what you come up with, because it's an interesting question. Okay, so Kiki accidentally fires some stuff, and we find a barrel of ale. Wait, what? Ale? No, must not kill Vex, must not kill Vex. Wonderful. I also like this understated moment where Vex starts going in on Keyleth, and Vax steps in to stop her. Again, a growth of their relationship to some extent. There's some, like, I need to protect the girl type of vibes going on here, and that's cute. All right, we gotta be done with all your personal shit. We've got stuff to do, Archie. Got stuff to do. So, we talk about the noble families and noble houses of Whitestone and their connection. Scanlan tries to convince everybody to let him do a distraction mission. This is classic Scanlan. Scanlan always does distraction missions. There is an issue with this mechanically, and I'm gonna actually talk about it. This is part of the Vox Machina is not great at planning sort of situation. Here's the deal. Vaxeldan is an assassin rogue. He is an assassin rogue. A rogue assassin. He auto-crits on surprise rounds. Scanlan is a bard. Scanlan, Sam Riegel, generally goes into every combat thinking that the best thing to do is make a big, loud, angry distraction and fucking distract everybody. Scanlan is incorrect. Sam is incorrect in this assumption. It can be useful, but when you're going into a Dungeons & Dragons combat and you have a character in your party who is an assassin rogue and will double their damage with sneak attack on the first attack that they make on an enemy, potentially fully eliminating an enemy from combat and preventing that enemy from ever getting any damage out, or at the very least taking a huge chunk out of their hit points. Making a distraction and letting your enemies know that combat is beginning is not useful. But in this situation, very useful, because what they're actually trying to do is not so much a distraction as a diversion. A diversion takes everybody and moves them somewhere, gets people to move resources so that you can attack somewhere else. And that is a very good situation for this. But there are a bunch of situations in the campaign where Scanlan does a thing, and it seems really cool, and it works to some extent because it's really cool, but it prevents his whole party from getting a surprise round, and it prevents his one assassin rogue from getting their sneak attack round, their surprise round and criticals. And then Vex takes assassin rogue later too, takes 3 levels, and so later on it's even worse to do this and distract people and let them know that combat has begun. I mean, it's debatable. There's like a sequence with it's an orc camp where Scanlan gets himself into a globe of invulnerability and rolls into camp singing trollolololololol. Hilarious, wonderful. And it ends up going really well because a bunch of orcs run over and start attacking the orb and can't figure out why it's not working because they're dumb orcs, and that's great. But is that worth, like, is wasting a couple of actions from those orc characters who did this worth reducing, like, the fact that every member of your party could cast a spell or make a couple of attacks during a surprise round if you just snuck up, and you could possibly, like, hard turn the fight in your favor by fully eliminating a couple of orcs easily? Like, Vex and Vax focus down an orc or two. Percy gets a full attack round with some surprise on at least the first shot. Keyleth gets to drop a crowd control spell or a fucking wall of fire or whatever the fuck Keyleth wants to do. Grog gets to run in and at least make an attack, maybe. All those things are so worth it. And so it's just a mechanical thing that annoys me about the way that Sam plays Scanlan, but that's okay. More importantly, Scanlan actually comes up with a good plan here, which is, I'm actually fucking powerful, all y'all bitches don't even know it, let me do this thing. But of course, Scanlan is also like, oh shit, what am I doing? This is stupid as fuck. Oh god, oh no. And I really like this whole infiltration session, from Scanlan singing his way through, to the various tools and tricks that he uses to actually get in, to the way that everything seems to be against him throughout the entire experience. It's lovely. Now, at this point here in the fight, I'm going to take a break and use the bathroom, but we'll come back to it immediately. Okay, it is at this point that the whole infiltration mission changes dramatically from what we experience in Campaign 1 of Critical Role. I don't know if I want to walk through the whole way that it actually goes, because it doesn't really matter. I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. Again, I'm very familiar with this combat. I like the way this combat plays a lot. It's a lot of people's favorite combat in Campaign 1 for very good reasons. It also super sets up the idea that Scanlan is maybe the most powerful member of the party in certain circumstances, and is certainly a moment that reveals to us that Sam is a bit of an innate genius when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons combat and strategic thinking. Which I guess is in contrast to what I just said about the way that he always does these like distraction things that end up causing harm to his party's DPR or like expected combat potential. I will highly recommend that you go and watch. There are a couple of different YouTube videos that are about this topic. I will recommend that now that there aren't really spoilers for it. There's the one that I like in particular is the one that focuses on Liam. So let me find it. Yeah. Okay. The video that I like most is Critical Role, Liam, Sam, and the Triceratops from Soda Wax. I think that's my favorite version of it. Obviously, you can also just watch Gunpowder Plot Part 1, the Critical Role episode. It's episode 31. But I like the Liam, Sam, and the Triceratops video by Soda Wax. I actually really like Soda Wax's compendium videos or like compilation videos. I think that Soda Wax does really good stuff, and they're really lovely. Yeah, I've been following that channel for a while, and they're wonderful, so thank you, Soda Wax. I doubt that you'll see this, but there you go. Little shout out. But do check that out. So here's what goes down during the fight. Scanlan goes off on his own. He approaches the front door of the house. I believe he does it as a fly or a rat or something. No, he does it as a fly. And then one of the guards outside the house smacks him and turns him back into Scanlan. At which point he goes, oh shit, and turns into a Triceratops on the front door. In doing so, he smashes through the front door and discovers that the Duke is waiting for him, ready for this problem, on the balcony up above with a bunch of people with bows pointed at him. He eats their first round of bow shots as the Triceratops. I guess heavy crossbow shots is what it is. As the Triceratops, because it's a big beefy creature that has a lot of hit points, runs off into a side room, ducks and hides under a table, and does some other crazy shit. He does then go rampaging more, kills a bunch of people, fucks a bunch of shit up, finds his way up to the roof, downs what he knows to be a potion of dragon's breath, uses the potion to light as much things as he can on fire, climbs up the ladder to the roof, blows fire down into the house, goes to the edge of the house. Duke Vedmire appears on the top of the roof to fight him. Scanlan uses Bigby's hand to throw him off the roof, and then uses Bigby's hand to slowly and gently remove himself from the roof, presumably killing Duke Vedmire, but it doesn't really matter, and also removing himself from the premises. Ta-da. That's basically how the whole fight plays out, with a whole lot of everybody else in the party going, "Oh my god, no, what are you doing? You're going to fucking die!" Because he should have died. Instead, he made basically perfect strategic decisions without knowing what he was up against in almost every circumstance, and it's really quite beautiful. Now, in the show, we decide to make it a different kind of an infiltration mission, and a little bit more humorous in some ways, playing into Scanlan's character as being this goofy guy who gets things done, and I don't dislike it one bit. The dookie, I don't need, but it is funny, and that's fine, and Scanlan finds himself right in the belly of the beast as the beast empties his belly. Running off to a room, I like this gag. The fact that they're rolling to hit is fucking sick. Also, wait, no, they're rolling to hit, but he's rolling a d6. Roll to see if he... No, that's a d6. This is wrong. Matthew Mercer. Shame. Shame. No, it's fine. So the whole idea of unknown potions, not a thing, but I do like the thing because it gives some chaos and creativity to Scanlan's whole situation. To me, though, the real meat of the whole Triceratops encounter is actually watching the incredibly silly things that Samlin does be the best possible thing for the situation, in my opinion. It's kind of magical, and the part of it that is lost here is the credit that is deserved toward Scanlan/Sam, which is that he actually made those decisions. It's not just that he chugged a bunch of random potions and a bunch of random effects happened. He's just a dope fucking gnome. In any case, he does the potion, and it seems to be blink, and that's pretty cool. Nice. He starts blinking the fuck around everybody, everywhere, and it's very fun. This whole combat sequence feels very focused to me because we're in, like, the mindset or the perspective of just Scanlan, and so we're very focused on just threats coming, deal with them, and it creates a pretty simple combat experience. The fact that it's a potion of diminution absolutely sucks, and is definitely the kind of thing where you don't want to chug random potions if you don't know what they do. It's really easy, guys. If you don't know this, I'll give you a little tip. It is reasonable to expect that you can dip a finger into a potion, taste it, and experience a tiny bit of its effects and figure out what it is. In fact, I believe that it is a rule in the DMG. Yeah. DM Basic Rules PDF, page 59, using a magic item. Potions are an exception. A little taste is enough to tell the taster what the potion does. Now, that's not in the DMG. It might be different in the DMG, but at least it's something that I was able to find quickly, that indicates that it is a written rule that you can just taste a potion without wasting the potion and find out what it is. You should do this with potions if you find them. Generally, if your DM is reasonable, you won't get destroyed, killed, poisoned, turned into a newt forever, whatever would happen with the potion if you just take a little sip of it. Usually in my campaigns, I will flavor it as, for example, they'll find a cloudy white potion, they'll take a sip of it, and I'll tell them that it's come. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I had to make that joke as soon as I said it was cloudy white. No. But I'll tell them that, like, oh, your feet, you feel yourself become very light, and your feet actually raise like a millimeter off the ground for just an instant. And they'll infer that that's probably a potion of flying. Or you feel energized a little bit, potion of haste, something like that. I won't give away the game completely, but I'll at least give my players an indication of what the thing probably is. So you can always do that with potions. If you're a player, know that. If you're a DM, know that. It's important. And I would say that's a really good thing to know, especially as a DM, because potions are one of my favorite things to give out in the game, especially the interesting potions. Single uses of interesting abilities are super interesting to me. It's actually why I've considered switching to the Cypher system, because that's all that the magic of the Cypher system really is. All magic items are single use, and that's pretty cool. And it also, it would just be really cool, because there's a bunch of stuff built around the Cypher system, and that's very cool. I think it's Numenera, other Monty Cook games, stuff like that. Anyway, that's just the thing. That's all of it. Okay, so he chugs another potion, and what will it be? What do it do? Well, this is very fun. I think this looks great. I think that this, as a depiction of dragon's breath as a potion, just like blasting fire out of your burbling stomach, not being able to stop it and feeling miserable the whole time, is hilarious and wonderful. I think we've all had one of those days where you eat some spicy fucking shit and you feel like you could breathe fire for a bit, and it's exactly like that, except real fire. It's great. And we jump back from that hilarity and insanity to a quiet conversation about siblings, and maybe about the friendships and families and found families that we have now. It's very cute and very sweet. Scanlan too. Okay, so he goes into here, some freaky stuff is in here, all sorts of things, and we start to see the Triceratops up in the back. We also see that their plans are much larger than otherwise. Starts whipping shit out, and a scroll. I love how Vedmire's so uncompromisingly just a douchebag, just like, I'm coming to get you. You know, like, here's Johnny. You know, it's a classic, like, Shining-y moment where he's just, and it's wonderful. And oops, I'm a Triceratops. What? Huh? A boom, a bam, a bang. Hey, not bad. Not bad at all. This whole sequence is very cool. I actually love the Triceratops running around and goring shit, going up the stairs and just trampling everything in its path, which is what it should do, and what Scanlan actually does in the game. It's wunderbar. It's fucking wonderful. And now for the exit. Nope. 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 Scary. And I love the dynamic that we present here, which is that Duke Vedmire does not believe Scanlan could possibly be a threat. You are tiny and puny and weak, and in this world, that means you die. He's got a pretty, how do I put it? Pretty limited viewpoint. Doesn't really understand the meanings of strength. And Scanlan is going to show him that it's not all about size. It's about how you use it. And oh boy, is he going to use it. Transitioning over here to the other battle, the other fight. This is very cool. Grog runs in. Grog discovers that it's a trap. Grog takes the arrows. Grog is fine. We'll get there. This is great because what we do is, if you think about it in chunks as we move through the episode, I guess it would be this way for you because left to right, right? Where yep, this is my left. This is my left. This is my right. There we go. It's not mirrored. It's yeah, okay. But in chunks, like big chunk Scanlan or big chunk Scanlan, big chunk other thing, big chunk Scanlan, big chunk other thing, medium chunk Scanlan, medium chunk other thing, small chunk Scanlan, small chunk other thing. It's like this movement that increases the momentum of each scene, and doing that and coming down to these smaller, shorter moments makes everything feel more rapid and tense as we flash back and forth between the two sequences as we move along through the episode. I think that's a really cool thing to keep in mind if you're a director or a writer or whatever. If you're flashing between an A plot and a B plot, doing so at different time lengths, different like amounts of things that you show, changes the dynamic of the scene. And I think it's also important if you're a dungeon master and you're switching between two scenes, which may or may not happen often if you split your party, which you probably shouldn't. But that is what's going on here as the party is split. Switching between them at different intervals can ramp tension. It's a useful tool. So I just wanted to shout that out. Anyway, we flash back to Scanlan and we see him brutalized. Please, 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 please. Fuck you. And the Bigby's hand fencing is so fucking sick. I love this a lot. It's very Scanlan and very cool, but it's not good enough yet. Oh, so Grog. This is the first, like, really powerful Grog is a fucking barbarian, bro moment here. Take the damage, run forward, jump up on the balcony. He yanks a guy. My favorite moment in it is he grabs a guy by the ankle and yankles him straight through a banister. That's fucking sick, right? Like, ooh, Jesus. This guy's terrifying, and he's the Wrecking Crew, and he does a fucking good job. I also like the little moments of, like, combined combat, Keyleth giving Vex a vantage point, like a Keyleth Vine a little bit later in the next scene smashes a guy against a wall as Percy runs by, I think is what it is, or maybe it says Vax runs by. It doesn't really matter, it just keeps happening. The combo attacks, the maneuvers, it makes them all feel like a team, and I like it a lot. And he gets to have his whole little speech. Did you honestly think you could best me? Ha, trying to lightning bolt me with your hand? That won't work. Well, my friend, it's not the size of the boat. It's the motion of the ocean. And maybe the lightning of the brightening. I don't fucking know. Dick Lightning! Look, Scanlan Dick Lightning has been a constant part of Critical Role's experience for forever. Since they made the video, like when they made the intro video, and they've got Scanlan doing the it's so fucking great. And it's always been a funny thing that he does. The cube is powerful. By the way, the cube is what he calls his dick because it is square, it is as wide as it is long, and it is cube-shaped. just so you know. But it is powerful. So he zaps the boy, the house explodes, and he pieces the fuck out and tells him, don't forget to tip your servers. Beautiful. I think this is a great rendition of the whole Scanbo experience. I think everybody's been waiting for this, and this is the thing that I said that I was waiting for. This is Scanbo. It's very different from the way that it actually plays out, but it includes all the elements that matter, the way that he overcomes the expectations of himself and begins to move into his role as really a powerful spellcaster in his own right, as well as a leader of people, a decider of plans to some extent, for better or for worse, and just becoming the Scanlan who deserves a beret on his head. It's wonderful. And then we get our final scene. We should talk about how this scene plays out differently as well, a little bit, I think. I love the intro to this scene. Percy constantly going and chasing something that keeps closing behind doors as he goes is the nature of the scene that I find really interesting, because it's exactly what he's been dealing with this whole time that he's been on this revenge plot. Doors keep closing. Open the door, coward. And he finally bashes his way through and finds Cass there. And Anders makes a choice. I make my own decisions. And, yeah, this is not a negotiation, so he slices her throat. There was no plan to let this happen in any other way, and we watch through Cassandra's own eyes as her lifeblood burbles from her neck, and she reaches, hand-bloodied, toward Percy one more time, just as she might have done when she was taken by the arrows in the back. And Percy watches his sister die again. And we focus in on his face, and I thought we were going to watch a black cloud grow within his eyes. But we don't even have to see it at this point. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. What else would happen? Ooh, it's groovy. Okay, I do want to talk about this scene, because it is different. In the campaign, Percy is not the first one to the door. Vax is. And at this point in the campaign, everybody hates Vax because Vax keeps wandering off and almost getting himself killed. He keeps doing it. He can't stop doing it. It's Liam playing Vax as a sad boy, but it's also just rogue shit. You're the sneaky boy and you're sneaking. Vax finds himself in that room, finds himself face to face with Anders, with Cassandra, and the knife, and everything else. And Vax makes a choice, which is Vax attacks, and in doing so, Professor Anders slits her throat. So that creates some inter-party tension between Vax and Percy, you might think, because Percy starts to blame Vax for this situation. In any case, that's not what happens here, and I think it's reasonable to do it this way. It's a situation where it's more impactful for Percy's story to have it play out this way, for him to be the one who sees and to some extent threatens Anders, and to some extent believes he puts him in the corner where he cuts her throat. That's cool. I like the decision here, but it is very different, and we'll see, because there are ramifications and ripple effects that happen because of that scene with Vax rushing in headlong. There are ripple effects and ramifications that happen later, and so we'll have to see how those change, if at all, or if they just are eliminated or vanishified, which is fine. I'm not going to begrudge them that. They're rewriting a story into a more compelling narrative that works in a single episode format, which is totally different, and so I will not begrudge them one bit for changing it up. But there are some changes made, and I think it's important to note that. Ooh, cool. All right, so one of my favorite scenes in Vox Machina's campaign has now been animated, and I think they did a really good job of it. It's different, but I don't hold that against them. Not at all. I think it was really good as it was, and I enjoyed it like crazy. I actually thought this episode was great in all ways. We had a bunch of little emotional moments that were solid between characters. Keyleth with the Sun Tree is very sad, and we're seeing that build up in the background, and I like it. Vax and Vex's relationship, Percy and Vex's relationship, Grog being Grog, all of these things feel more confirmed and more solidified and more real to me as we move through. I also thought that the fight scenes that we do get, both like the Grog and everybody rushing that house fight scene and all the Scanlan-focused fight scenes are lovely. I love the flashbacks to Whitestone. all of them. They're really cool. And I love, I mean, my highlight for the episode actually is Percy telling us the story of how he made the pepper box for the first time, because that sequence, as gears click and hammers cock and barrels turn and things explode and the mask and the eyes and the glow and the shattering and the blood, all of it comes together to create this really evocative, powerful, emotional sequence that is just fucking perfect. And it's pure Talison's imagination, I believe. And I think it's perfect. I think it's absolutely, I wouldn't have it any other way. And it adds a lot visually and emotionally to the character that's already living rent-free inside my brain, which is Percival Frederickstein von Musel-Kowalski to Rolla III. Fucking wonderful. I love it. I like this episode a lot. It's still the same show, right? So again, as we have talked about before, I'm not going to talk about the animation. It's good enough. It's not the best thing I've ever seen. I'm not going to necessarily talk about the frame rate composition. It's good enough. It's not the best I've ever seen. It's good enough. Music was great throughout the episode. Scanlan songs great throughout the episode. Voice acting solid throughout the episode. No gripes this time, even though I had some last time. None this time at all. And none of the exposition felt weighty or wrong to me. It felt really solid. And like, because it's the only exposition that we get in this episode is Percival telling characters things that they don't know, or like Archie telling them about the noble houses, which they don't know. So it's all important information, which none of our characters know. So it's reasonable for one of them to tell them about the other ones, especially the Percy stuff, because everybody's like, what the fuck was that, bro? You got to explain your backstory. And so he does. And that's perfect. It's the only way we could get that information. So we get it perfectly. It's just visually elucidated for us in more detail. And I think it's great. Lovely episode of Vox Machina. That'll be it. Thank you all for watching so much. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Vox Machina episode 7. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves, and I hope you will join me next week for episode 8 as things get even more heated in the Briarwoods version of Undead Evil Whitestone. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week for more. If you want early access, it's on the Patreon. Likes, comments, and subscribes are always valuable. Please drop them if you feel like it, and I will see you next week for more. Thanks for watching. Peace.